I'm excited to be here for the July edition of Conversations from the Vault. Conversations from the Vault is brought to us by Angelina Carew of Hometown Realty. So I'm thrilled to have you ladies here with us today. Loretta Byrd, you are the President CEO of the Benson Area Chamber of Commerce. And Maureen McGuinness, you are the President CEO of the Triangle East Chamber of Commerce. So welcome.
Thrilled to be here.
Thank you. Glad to have you. So I wanted to start off by being able to talk a little bit about who you are, what brought you to the chamber world, your backgrounds, and anything else you want the viewers to know about you guys. So, Loretta, you want to go first?
Well, I have a background in education, but I had also done a lot of work for almost 30 years part-time for another nonprofit. And so when the job became available in Benson 20 years ago, it's hard to believe, I got a phone call and they asked me to apply, and here I am today, 20 years later.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how about you, Maureen? I know you've got some different areas of experience in the chamber world.
Yes, so my career started in journalism,
right.
And I loved that, but the newspaper industry kind of changed, so I went into public relations and fundraising, so I worked for a variety of different not-for-profits, but I grew up in a family business, and from high school through college, I worked for my family business, and right after college, so I've always had a passion for small business. I'm a single mom, and some of the work I was doing for not-for-profits took me away from my children. Mm-hmm. I entered the chamber world because it offered that work-life balance,
right.
And it allowed me to support small businesses, which I, having grown up in them, I had a good understanding of them.
That's what I love when we talk to other chamber professionals. What their backgrounds are and what brought them to the chamber world and how they've sort of evolved. Because I don't think anybody wakes up and says, "Oh, I want to run a chamber of commerce," right?
Right. We didn't major in that in college, did we?
No. And I think now they do have degrees in nonprofit management, which is fabulous. Mm-hmm. But that was certainly not offered, during our time, I don't believe. But my background is I majored in public health education. And so that, I guess, gave me a little bit of the grassroots background. But I was in a family business as well, kitchen cabinet design and sales. So I learned how to design cabinets, and my family ran a small business. Stayed home for a while with my children, and then I feel like I've worn a million hats, but I have taught preschool. And then I I was asked to interview for the job for the Johnston County Association of Realtors. So that's how I got into nonprofit management. Did that for 12 years, and then became the President CEO of the Clayton Chamber 6 years ago. Talk a little bit about the history of the Chamber of Commerce in Johnston County. You mentioned that you've been with the Benson Area Chamber for 20 years. In fact, you were just recognized for that, and we appreciate your service. And I know that the Benson community just absolutely adores you. You can certainly tell by the relationship you have with your businesses and your community. So talk a little bit about the history of the chambers in Johnston County, because Maureen and I are both fairly new to the chamber world.
Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. When I arrived, there were 6 chambers in the county, but unfortunately one dissolved. There are 5 chambers. There's one in Kenley. There's the Triangle East, which includes several communities around the Smithfield-Selma area. There's Clayton, there's Benson, and there's also Four Oaks.
Right.
The Four Oaks director is a part-time position because they're smaller, but they're really growing now.
Yeah, they are.
So, and we've always worked together on some projects, which we'll discuss later, like Leadership Johnston. We used to do joint Flame for Learning and so forth. But all the chambers, I tell everyone constantly that each chamber has its own personality. Mm-hmm. We're in the southern end of the county, so we still got the rural flavor and the agricultural related businesses and industries, but that's even changing now. So, and Clayton is growing by leaps and bounds with new development coming in, as well as your pharmaceutical industries. And then, of course, Triangle East is the home of the county seat and the county government and our hospitals. So as you see, everything is different.
It is different. So since you brought that up, let's kind of talk about that. So what have you seen being new to this area and not being from this state? You bring a different perspective, and so talk a little bit about what you've noticed and what you've seen across the county.
Right. So, it's kind of interesting in the chamber world. You kind of touched on that. So this is my third chamber, and for people not in the chamber world, I think they think we're like a national organization, and every chamber follows the same kind of formula.
Correct.
But if you've seen one chamber, you've seen one chamber. So we all have our own unique missions and what's important to our communities. It's really exciting for me to come down here and see all of the growth and the development, but how people treasure the past, the history, and the heritage. And as we are growing as a county, how important the heritage, the history, and the agriculture are, and how much people are trying to preserve that. So I think we're in a really unique situation because we've seen other communities in the Southeast grow, and we now see what their headaches are now. And
right.
I feel like we're all trying to prevent having those headaches. We're doing some smart growth. But as far as chambers go, I think we're in a unique situation in that there are partnerships that exist. I've experienced in the past both chambers that work well together and chambers that compete. But we have a long history of working together and having partnerships. And I think those partnerships not only strengthen our organizations, but strengthen the total business community in Johnston County.
I totally agree with that. So let's talk a little bit about our collaboration, where you touched on a couple programs that we worked on historically as chambers of commerce across the county. So let's talk about some of our opportunities that maybe are or not chamber related, but that we are a part of and that we get to participate in. And then some people might say, well, why in the world would a chamber of commerce be a part of that initiative? So maybe we touch on our Workforce Alliance Council that we're all a part of. We started out as a business and industry council where we got together with our partners, right? Help me remember, make sure that
industry partners,
and the community college, economic development department, the chambers of commerce. I don't believe when we started, if the public school system was a part of the business and industry council initially. Maybe we had a representative. I can't remember.
No, Johnston Community College was, of course, but I don't remember the public school nor the hospital.
Right. So that sort of morphed into something different. Let's talk about the purpose now of the Workforce Alliance.
Well, and I think workforce is economic development.
Yes.
We can't grow our economy without a strong workforce. And one of the things that attracted me down here and to my chamber was all of the strong workforce development initiatives that exist here in Johnston County.
Right.
And I think our Workforce Alliance that meets on a regular basis is doing some really dynamic work.
So let's talk about our study that we did. Would either one of you like to elaborate on the workforce study that Ted Abernathy did along with the Economic Development Department?
So that was a great process that we all participated in. One of the concerns was the number of people who are leaving the county each day for work. And, we would like to retain people in the county. I think some of the other concerns that have come up include access to daycare and what is that doing to younger families. But we also were able to find that the businesses wanted to have their HR professionals be able to get together on a regular basis. And so that's been one success that we've had this year. And we've pulled together those HR professionals in a group. And, Joy Callahan, who is
awesome.
Amazing and works with all of the chambers, has been able to do that and make that happen. So that's been really helpful. And through that alliance, we're able to kind of identify what are the skills that the school district or the community college can work on. And we're also able to, help our businesses connect to the right people at each of those institutions.
Right. And I really like that being on the outside while they're talking about their concerns and the challenges that they're facing within their businesses and industries, and retention and hiring, and how they could work through that together. So I think it's been a great outcome of the study. And now we have some data that we can move forward and try to combat the talent that we want to recruit to this county, keep talent here from leaving. And so it's just been a great collaborative partnership that the chambers have been able to be a part of, I think. So we do have some projects that we do work on together as chambers. One being JoCo Works, one being Leadership Johnston, and Launch JoCo. So let's kind of talk about those programs of work and how beneficial that's been to our county to work together. And so let's take JoCo Works.
So JoCo Works, we're in our 5th year. Every 8th grader in the county participates in that. The students in 8th grade come to the community college. It's a 2-day thing. We take over the parking lots at the community college and we turn them into worlds. In my head, I describe it as like Epcot for workforce. And the students, before they come, receive instruction on what's going to happen that day. It allows them hands-on career exploration so they know what opportunities they have right here in Johnston County. After they leave the 2-day hands-on experience, they have more instruction in the classroom, and they spend the rest of the year learning about careers that exist here. We have a great tool that they can use online with their teachers, with their parents, and then at the end of the year, they pick their classes for high school. So they can say, well, hey, I'm interested in hospitality, or I'm interested in manufacturing, and they know what classes to go into. We all work together for a whole year, along with our colleagues at JCC and the school district, making this happen. So we have our industry leaders there putting on really active, engaging, hands-on activities. And we've grown the program since it first started. So now we have JoCo Works Pro, which is a 10th grade opportunity to learn professional skills. We all did the mock interviews, which were great. And then we have JoCo Works Now, which is for 11th and 12th graders, for them to be hired either as interns or upon graduation. So those are things that we all work together. But 12,000 students have gone through the program. This year, we should have data on what were the effects for that first 8th grade class going through. The exciting thing, I think, for all of us is that that program has been identified by the state as a promising practice, and we've been asked to present at a variety of statewide conferences about it. So other communities are coming to Johnston County saying, you're handling this workforce development thing with middle school students the right way. We want to learn from you.
So we're an example for other communities. So the event is coming up in November, right?
November 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah. So how, if someone watching this podcast is a business and they're like, oh, this sounds exciting. I want to be able to showcase my business to the students and 8th graders to help me. How can they get involved?
It's very easy. So first of all, they could call either one of us, and we can point them in the right direction. We do have a website, JoCoWorks.com, and they can get the information. We can show them videos. But basically what they do is they set up an activity that is hands-on. So it could be, for example, in the healthcare world, it could be doing CPR. In the hospitality world, it could be races on who makes the bed the fastest, or who can carry a tray of food the fastest. But there are a variety of different creative activities that they can do. But we will help them. We'll talk them through it. And it's really an engaging event for both the adults and the students.
Right. So it could be as elaborate or as simple as it,
As they choose.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of an HVAC company that has people play Jenga, because it's about how do you deal under pressure, what's your eye-hand coordination. So it doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, you're putting together, you're installing a piece of equipment.
Right. And last year, for the first time, the Home Builders Association, don't they now have a transfer trailer truck that students can go in and do a variety of different trade skills, and they show them how all that works?
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yes. And I should point out that we are very fortunate in Johnston County to have Novo Nordisk, who supports us in this and is the presenting sponsor of JoCo Works.
Absolutely. So, Loretta, you want to touch on Leadership Johnston? That's probably one of the longest countywide collaborative programs that's been going on.
Yeah, it was started in fact, my predecessor to the chamber, well, the one two back, Betsy Whittington served on that committee with Rick Childry. And they started, I think, in the mid-90s.
And Rick was the president of the Triangle East Chamber.
Yes, and Betsy was the president of the Benson Chamber.
Right.
And it took a couple of years off, I think, but I don't even know what year we were at. Do you know?
No, we've lost count, sadly, because I would love to be able to say, this is the X, graduating class.
Right. Well, we'll just have to research that.
Yeah,
but Leadership Johnston has, as you said earlier with JoCo Works, it has grown and we've made changes, and it's a program to, well, first of all, they get great leadership training skills. A lot of businesses send people there if they see potential in that person and they think that they might one day go up the ranks or be a leader in their business. They'll send them there. There's skills training, there's leadership training, and they also get to see a flavor of the county, the entire county. Yeah. They get to visit different areas in the county, and just because, quite frankly, some people that live in the western part of the county may not have ever been to the southern part of the county.
And that is true.
We have a huge county. We're one of the largest counties in the state. And so I've seen and I've enjoyed watching people visit other places and say, hey, I didn't even know this was here. I'm excited to find it out. And we're so excited this year we were able to bring back Junior Leadership Johnston, which was a great program too. And, people talk about that they're worried about our future. Don't worry, there are kids there that are going to do great things. We just have to give them the support through programs like this and through other programs the school system's doing to train them and give them guidance and set them on the right path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, one of the things, you mentioned we're not even sure what year we are with Leadership Johnston. The program has changed, it's evolved. Just like business has changed and evolved, the way my family's company was in 1989 is not the same way it operates right now. And that is something I think that has been beneficial with our leadership in our different projects that we work together. We kind of assess and say what's working, what's not working. And this year we made some changes to Leadership Johnston. We have a wonderful instructor focusing on different aspects of leadership. I think some of the great things were having difficult conversations. The class really enjoyed being able to learn how to have difficult conversations. So, that was great. And the hospitality from Benson, both with the regular leadership program and the youth program, was amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. The one thing, too, the importance of Leadership Johnston to me is that we have so many volunteer opportunities in our communities.
Yes.
And as everyone knows, Civic Club membership is decreasing every day.
It is.
And so many Civic Clubs are getting word that they may not be in existence in 5 to 10 years. So I'm hoping that these leadership programs will teach and lead people to the desire to volunteer in their community, whether it be in a club, their church, the community, run for office, do whatever, because that is important too.
Well, it's important in all aspects of life.
Absolutely.
And I feel like having a servant's heart is extremely important. And I know you've seen it with your own experience, your members' experiences when they're involved in something other than their day-to-day business. It comes back twofold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that. I love the fact that we are also collaborating on Launch JoCo. That's a fairly new program, and we are collaborating with the Chambers of Commerce, with the Small Business Center for Johnston Community College. We've got Delta Sigma Theta sorority on board, which they had an entrepreneur leadership program, and decided to partner with us and to make it stronger and have it grow across the county. So anyway, I really love the fact that we're all working together to help entrepreneurs and small business get the tools that they need to succeed. That's a very difficult business to be in when you're running your own business, and we're hoping that we can increase the success rate across the county. So that program is getting ready to ramp up. I wanted to talk about Leadership Johnston. Graduation is in November.
That's correct.
When do applications start?
Applications will be available August 1st.
August 1st.
And again, Leadership Johnston has its own website, but the link is available through all of the chambers. Last year we had the highest number of applicants in recent years, and the calls have already started. So we encourage people to, when August 1st comes, apply.
Yeah, right.
And I do want to mention that there is a fee connected with that for us to be able to run the program.
That is true.
Yes.
But chamber members, if you are a member of a chamber of commerce, your tuition is reduced.
Yeah. So Launch JoCo applications also are open August the 1st. We will be taking applications at launchjoco.org. And so that'll be our brand new website. Very excited about that. We'll also be doing informational sessions across the county in August. So we'll be doing one in Benson, we'll be doing one in the Smithfield-Selma area, and then we'll be doing one in the Clayton area, so that we could spread the news and inform entrepreneurs how to give them some educational tools so they can grow and scale their business. Also new to the program is the Launch Now, which will help. We will be referring these businesses and entrepreneurs to the Small Business Center, where they can help them vet their business, look at viability, give them some webinars and some education on how to get their business started, so that they can maybe then reapply for Launch Next. And then at some point we'll be doing Launch Beyond, which will be a support system for those entrepreneurs that have been through the program so that we can continue with their professional development and their growth. The other piece to this is mentorship. And so not only do I feel like, and I think everybody else knows how mentorship is extremely important in any aspect of your life. I think we all need to have those who can help us grow and expand our businesses or our professional growth or whatever you want to look at. So that opportunity will be available too for business leaders across the county who feel like they want to pay it forward and to help these entrepreneurs grow and develop. And so we have our class that of 2023 that will graduate in November as well. And then we'll start our new class in 2024. So very excited. All right, so we talked a little bit about our collaboration, but as we talked about earlier, our chambers are unique, and Maureen, actually you said if you met one chamber, you met one chamber. So I love that about Johnston County, in that we have uniqueness across the board. So talk a little bit about what you're doing in your communities that is unique and different, and how you're serving your membership as well. So you want to start, Loretta?
Yes. B is near the front of the alphabet, isn't it? Our chamber is like a nucleus in the community. We're extremely community oriented, and have become more so in the last few years. We're involved in downtown development. We work closely with the town of Benson on economic development, but we also try to work really hard to plan events for our members. And I guess one of the most famous things that we're known for is Benson Mule Days, which is a huge festival that we put on every year. This will be our 74th year, and it's September. And it draws hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people into our community and our town. And it also is a uniting thing too. Volunteers, the community, they just all come together. And, we have a lot of things going on, as both of you do, for our members, after hours, coffees, different things. But we're on Main Street as you are, and it seems that more and more people are popping in, they're talking, they want to find out things. We're almost like a visitor center as well. I'm going to stop now so you have
Well, look, Loretta, Maureen and I both have our little plaques because we've been judges for Mule Days.
Absolutely.
Lots of fun.
Yes.
I love
yes.
that. Look, I've got them.
It's
What's it called? Mule Skinner.
Yes.
You're a mule skinner, which, if you don't know what a mule skinner is, it's someone that trains mules. So.
Yes. Yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah, we have people come in all the time too.
You're right there on 95.
Right,
yes.
and at the outlet center.
Yes, yeah. Yes. So I'd love to take count of how many people come in a week for information and want to know history about the house. And having a historical house, as you know, is a blessing and a challenge.
Yes, as we're dealing with some water in the basement from this morning.
It's an interesting time for us. We rebranded right before COVID, and so that COVID itself presented a challenge in rolling out some of the things with the rebranding. But it also caused us to take a look at what are we doing, what do we need to do differently, that kind of thing. And so we have been looking at what do we do, and should we do it, continue to do it, that kind of thing. So we changed up some of our things. So our legacy awards are how we recognize our community leaders. It used to be part of our annual meeting. Our annual meeting now is a true annual meeting. So they're two separate events. So we're looking at things strategically to make sure that we're best serving our members. So this is a time of study.
Sure.
We are
especially being new to the presidency gives you that opportunity, right?
Right. One thing that we're really proud of is our member engagement with our digital footprint. So We have really great analytics with visitors to our website. So we've been working really hard to make sure our members are utilizing everything they can. We give all of our members an enhanced listing at no extra charge. So we've been working really hard to make sure they're loading their pictures, their videos, and those kinds of things. And then our email open rate is double the national average. So we're really working on to make sure that our members know what an asset that is. So we are, retooling at this point,
Sure.
and certainly having the management of JoCo Works and Leadership Johnston out of our office is taking a bit of time, but we are growing tremendously. We are up, I would say we're up like about 60 members so far this year.
Wonderful.
So it's definitely an exciting time.
Yeah, I think we're all experiencing those growth opportunities with new businesses moving in, and people want to be in Johnston County, and it's just exciting times for all of us. And I really appreciate the collaboration. I appreciate you joining me today for this podcast so we can learn more about what we're working on together and what you all are working on individually in your community. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.